All right, welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Sandy with All Star Family Chiropractic, and welcome to tonight's spinal workshops. We're here because something is wrong. Plain and simple, right? Tonight's title about headaches. And we're going to learn a few things, a lot of stats. So let me go into this. Show of hands, how many of you have ever experienced a headache? That's like everyone. I don't even have to go into my next question, which is how many of you know someone who's had a headache? Because you're not alone, right? It affects 90 to 95% of the people, no matter young or old. Everyone, almost everyone, has had a headache at some point in their life. Men, women, youth, older people. So bearing the burden of headaches, whether you're an individual, I'm just going to make a mess up here. It all depends on how you get headaches, what they're like. I want to hit the highlights for you. I don't want to just go through slides and read them. So there's types of different headaches, right? What do you think is the most common headache that people experience? Stress headache. But they're not called stress headaches. Let me tell you, 80 to 90%, actually I would say it's 90 to 100% of all headaches are caused by some type of stress. Now when we say stress though, we're thinking about working too hard, mental stress, getting frustrated. Stress comes in different forms. It's also the same things that cause subluxations to the spine, right? Those misaligned vertebrae that put pressure on the nerve. So stress can be physical, it can be chemical, and it can be emotional. And there's a couple other forms of stress as well. But think about this way. Physical, when we're talking about stress, a lot of people that are overworked or they're at a counter or a desk, our posture's not great. You're at a computer, we're typically like this. And for every inch our ear is forward off our shoulders, it adds 10 pounds of pressure onto the back of our neck. What do you think that's doing to the nervous system? It's going to put pressure on it. It's not okay. In fact, where is that old lady that used to stick her thumb in the shoulder and say, stand up straight? I'm going to be that for my kids, right? Because we're not even noticing this, and it's with gaming and phones that we're starting to look down. It's not okay. So the curve in the neck should be closer to 40 degrees, right? When we have a 40-degree curve, we're more likely to live longer and have a higher quality of life. Who doesn't want that? But every time we start looking down at our phones, we're taking that curve out of our neck, putting more pressure on the nerves. So a lot of, especially women, they'll say, oh, I keep my stress up here in my shoulders, right? How many of you experience that? Right? Men typically go a little bit lower. We don't hold our stress there. We're choosing to have poor posture when we're stressed, that it pulls there. So the next time you think you're stressed, I want you to check your posture, because that's where we tend to have more problems. So now there is a difference between headaches and migraines. Like you were talking about, the stress or tension headaches, they typically happen on like a hat band, right around the temples. Then there's cluster headaches, there are seasonal allergy headaches, there's dehydration headaches. Dehydration headaches typically happen right here in the forehead is what I clinically experience. Any other headaches you guys come up with? Sometimes they're hormonal induced. Caffeine withdrawals, that's a toxin. In fact, one of the studies in here, I don't know what slide it is, I hate going through slideshows, but it estimates that 80% of all migraines are diet induced. Mostly blaming animal fats, because our American diet, the standard American diet, SAD, is too high on animal fats. And when that happens, it changes our cholesterol levels, which can change our hormonal levels, which then changes the way the chemistry in the brain is also being processed and the way we react in our health. A lot of times in families, we see the same environmental things, meaning the same diet, the same habits for exercise. So people tend to get the same problems. Oh, I have low back pain because my dad had low back pain or bad backs. I get headaches. My mom had migraines. It's hereditary. It's passed down. Odds are it's not. It's learned behavior. 80% of of the migraines and headaches out there, they think can be diet induced. So as of what I pulled this slideshow, It's a couple years old, and it uses studies from even a couple decades ago. At this time, though, 9% of the U.S. population has migraines, which means 28 million people. I updated that number today. It is now 12 to 16% of the U.S. population has migraines. That's a big increase. Do you think our diet's getting any better? No. Do you think our workout level is getting any better? Not at all. So 40% of the population, though, has tension-type headaches. That's the most common type of headache out there. So when you're talking about stress-induced, you're exactly on. But there's no such thing as a normal headache. Headaches are common. They are not normal. And what do we do for if we get a headache? Yeah, we take Tylenol, over-the-counter medication, right? And there's a study in here, and I hope I can get to it. If I do, I'll interrupt what I did. That shows those that are taking any type of over-the-counter or painkillers for migraines and headaches tend to have worse migraines and headaches that last longer. Because what are the medicines doing? They're masking the problem. They're putting a Band-Aid on it so you can function. Now, you're the one that's going to have to decide if you need to function at that time when you take the medicine. But I want you to know that if you decide that, you need to do something to also counter that. There's episodic type tension headaches, which affects 40% of the population. We talked about those. Migraines are also a common primary headache disorder affecting more women or more men? 3 times more likely to be in women than men. 18% of the women, 6% of the men. Migraines are more common than asthma and diabetes combined. Again, old stats. Do you think it's changed 20 years later? No. Migraines are more common than asthma and diabetes combined still. Rheumatoid, so to put this in perspective, and when it's saying the number of millions of Americas, they are slightly lower numbers, or they're bigger numbers now. So the numbers I'm going to go over are slightly lower than they are today. But rheumatoid arthritis affects 2.1 million Americans, mostly women. Asthma affects estimated 14.6 million American adults as an overall lifetime prevalence of 10.5% and affects women more than men. Diabetes affects 17 million Americans, or 6.2% of the population. Osteoarthritis, so that's your typical bone arthritis, affects 20.7 million Americans and women more than men. We got it bad, don't we, girls? Severe migraine affects 27.9 million Americans with a female-to-male ratio of 3 to 1. That's from the CDC, arthritis.com, and the Census government. So here's one of the concepts that we talk about, migraines and headaches. How many of you have ever missed work because of a headache or migraine? Yeah, a couple heads nodding. So how many of you showed up to work with a headache or migraine? What's your workload like? Is it better or worse? So here's the deal. People missing work for a headache and migraine, that's a small number. But those showing up with headaches and migraines, the productivity of a worker like that is much lower. It's a term called absenteeism, where you're showing up to work but not actually getting any work done, right? Or not the quality of work that you were used to putting out. What they're finding, though, again, going back to posture and those tension-type headaches, it's all coming from the neck. The majority of it. In fact, sad story, it's becoming better now, though. The majority of headaches and migraines are coming from the neck area. Just like we were talking about, our tension, our posture, pressure on the nerves. Dysfunction in neck muscles contributes to the headache pain and is the reason chiropractic deals so well with tension headaches. Misalignment of the vertebrae will reflexively trigger muscles to tighten the neck and head, provoking those painful muscles. In addition to painful muscles, this can alter blood pressure. I was actually part of a study that showed after being adjusted, blood pressure lowered. With due patience and diligence, the medical community has documented why. For so long, chiropractic has had such good results with patients suffering with chronic tension headaches. But do you see any medical doctors referring to chiropractic offices for headaches? No. Absolutely not. And in my line of thinking, you would want to do the most conservative treatment first. What do you think has more side effects, taking Tylenol every day or a chiropractic adjustment? Taking a Tylenol every day. Yet you can go get that for a bottle for like what, $6? And it'll last you over a month? Tension headaches are the most common variety of headaches. Studies have shown that annually, 43.6% of all tension headache sufferers note reduced effectiveness on the job, exactly what we were talking about, that absenteeism. So when people stop taking daily painkillers, they may actually feel better, not worse. Then the preventative measures can work much better at reducing headaches. So taking daily meds of aspirin, acetaminophen, ibuprofen, or sedatives and painkillers is believed to interfere with the brain centers that regulate the flow of pain messages into the nervous system. Did you catch that? They mess with how the nervous system functions. The headache then becomes worse. Because what is the headache? Anytime you have pain in your body, what is that? Something's wrong. It's a warning system. And what do we do with that medicine? We want to say, oh, let's just turn that off and ignore it. That's not okay. We're not changing the cause. And when you look to the cause, which often we see in the spine, and we treat the cause, we then get rid of the symptoms rather than just covering it up. So patients with rebound headaches will have their headaches resolved simply by discontinuing the usage of the offending drug in 80% of the patients. That's from 92. They've known this for decades, yet it's still the thing that's most recommended. It's not uncommon to have two types of headaches at the same time, or for one type of headache to evolve into another. This can happen naturally or as a result of over-dependence on medication in treatment. So yes, chiropractic adjustments are more effective than medication after a 4-week course of treatment and at least one follow-up. In just 4 weeks. That's what they found in one study. Now I could go on another 10 minutes about research in chiropractic care, because that's what the medical profession will say about chiropractic care, is that they don't have the research. Well, it's really hard to make a control group because you know if you're getting adjusted or not, right? So that is why chiropractic research needs to be more of a case study, case by case. But what we find is that those getting adjusted clinically tend to have better results. Most migraines should be diagnosed as cervicogenic headaches. This is the part where I was like, this is sad. Cervicogenic headaches is a special code for a diagnosis saying that your headache is evolved from pressure on the nervous system, from the neck area. I've been using this code since I graduated chiropractic college 10 years ago. It just became a billable diagnosis October 1st, 2021. Yet they've known about it for decades. But I wasn't allowed to put it on any single one of your diagnosis charts until October of last year. I'm glad things are starting to change and they're starting to wake up. Everything takes time. It's a process. We're moving in the right direction. In the last 10 years, you think headaches have gone up or down? Up. At least 60% increase. 60% increase in the last 10 years. What are we doing to change it, though? We're pushing more meds. This is the big information I need you to know to tell someone else that doesn't know what you now know. I'm only one person. I can't get this out here alone, so I'm so glad all of you decided to show up here today to learn this, because we Americans believe that as a nation, we value our health above all others. In the top 11 income earning nations, where do you think the U.S. ranks for health quality? We're number 11 out of 11 in 9 out of 10 areas. We spend the most per person in the healthcare system, and we prescribe the most amount of drugs than any other country in the world. Yet we have the lowest quality of health. So if drugs were the answer and money was the answer, we would have better health. But it's not. It comes down to a decision in yourself. We have to want that change in ourselves in order to change the world. Oh, that's what I went back to my room for. I have a great story. I'll share it with you guys later. I'll be able to use it in another spinal workshop because those online are going to have to miss it. But your neck is the missing link, right? Your neck will help you understand your headaches. I'm going to open up this for questions if there are any, because you can ask personal questions, you can ask general questions, but you can tell I get passionate about this. Something's not right. in the way our healthcare systems run, in the way we're being educated on how to take care of ourselves, and the food that is allowed on our grocery store shelves. It is a whole marketing system to keep us stupid and fat and sick. And that is not okay. But we have to consciously make the decisions every day to fight the temptation that is in our face all the time. I mean, what's the first thing when you walk into a Walmart or Meijer's? It's the snack thing. Right in the center aisle right there, it is Halloween candy, Easter candy right now. It is the cupcakes and pies, the quick grabs. Because when we're low on energy, when we are taught to be on this rat race of a wheel and keep going, we grab for the sugar. That's the temptation. So it takes time to change our habits and to consciously make those decisions that we're not falling into poor, bad habits again. So you guys are here to make and take. We're going to be working in essential oils, just so you know, online. We're going to be working on a mixture that's diluted with fractionated coconut oil. We're going to be using frankincense. We're going to be using lavender, and we're going to be using peppermint oil in making your own and taking tonight too. Any questions? All right, let's dive into our, yeah, go ahead.
What would you suggest for someone who suffers like from anxiety? Like when I came in here, which is why I'm here today, I had a big stress headache. I don't know if it was, I had a test. And I kind of freaked out because I'm a perfectionist. I don't like to get anything wrong. And I had a massive headache afterwards.
Okay, so the question was, in case you didn't hear online, is how do people handle or what would I recommend for people with anxiety that are stressing themselves out, I'm getting, right, that are creating headaches, right? So like taking a test, anxiety over that. There are lots of tools, and I've never found one tool to work for all people. But the big things that I go to is it's going to take time and practice. There's not one thing that's going to be the answer for you or for anyone with anxiety. We do sell CBD products. I think the essential oils help that. I even used to have panic attacks back in high school until a chiropractor adjusted my sternum. And then I never had another one. But what I find in my practice is that when I adjust sternums for anxiety, I only get about a 20 to 25% success rate for anxiety. Mostly because I think this happens to be more of a heart issue than whether if it's a mental issue or a physical issue or a chemical issue, right? It all changes, right? So chiropractic doesn't cure anything. In fact, now I can say it can help. Statistically, it can really help reduce tension headaches, especially if it's caused from problems in the neck. Those misaligned vertebrae putting pressure on the nerve that we call subluxations, right? So excellent question, and I can answer yours more personally. Some of the tools that I use to help with anxiety, stress, and prepare myself to be at my best too. Any other questions? All right. Go ahead, turn off the video. We'll see you guys soon.